traditional Italian drink, the Negroni, is the classic. Everybody knows how to make a fucking Negroni. It's equal parts gin, Campari, vermouth. I like to use Japanese gin. Kinobi is my favorite out of all gins out there. It's amazing, it's the best. Campari, there's only one Campari. Any other brand, any other bottle, it's shit. Campari needs to be in a Negroni. And your sweet vermouth, or red vermouth, whatever you want to call it. I found the best Antica formula, however I have a martini, so that's what I'm going to use today. And here on a martini bottle you can see it says Torino. That means it's from Italy. On a Campari bottle, down here it says Milan, which, as you may have guessed it, is from Italy. Yeah, so one is from Milan, one is from Torino. And combining these two together, you get a cocktail that is called Milano Torino. And that's how the Negroni originated. From Milano Torino cocktail, people added a splash of soda into it and created Americano. They wanted a bit more boozy version, they added gin, hence the Negroni. One bartender picked up a bottle of Prosecco by mistake instead of gin and created a Negroni Spagliato. And there are many other versions of Negroni, but I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm going to go through two different versions. One of them is not even a Negroni. One of them is a Boulevardier, a version of Negroni that is my personal favorite. It's a Negroni where you substitute gin for whiskey. I'm going to use this, which is whiskey, but to be quite honest, I forgot what I put in it. But it's whiskey, so I'm going to use that. As I mentioned, super simple recipe. Equal parts, 1 part sweet vermouth, 1 part Campari, and 1 part whiskey. When it comes to whiskey, I find it best to be bourbon, because the bourbon has a lot of sweetness to it, and a Negroni is a very bitter drink. You don't want anything that's going to fire up the drink even more. You want something to sweeten it up a little bit. You want that bitter-sweet cocktail. So go for your sweet whiskies, and the sweetest whiskies you can find would be bourbon. So I'm going to use 1 part of this mysterious whiskey I have. And boom, simple as that. 3 ingredients, equal measures, all in a mixing glass. Mix it up. Voila. You have a Boulevardier. So just add some ice. Let me stack together. So fill the glass with ice and stir it up. And how do you know how long to stir for? Just fucking taste the cocktail. If it's nice, pour it in a glass. So once you stir it up, pour it straight in. Of a big block of ice or on the rocks. Don't serve it neat because it's quite bitter and you want that dilution to make the drink a little bit more drinkable. So that's your Boulevardier. Now you should garnish it with orange, but I do not have any oranges at the moment. So you can go with the alternative, which would be lemons. So drop a wedge of lemon. And you can pass that off as a Boulevardier. So let's try it. It's just a better version of a Negroni. I would go for this all the time. Brings back all kinds of memories. Anyway, but I want to move on to the second drink, because with the second drink I'm going to experiment a little bit. It's the drink I've never done, and it's not a recipe, it's a recipe I made up in my head. And I'm going for a white Negroni. Now, you may have heard of white Negroni, but I'm going something slightly different. I'm going to show you why. First of all, I'm going to put this away. I'm going to need a shaker. No, I'm not going to shake a Negroni. I'm going to do something very different, and you'll see what in a second. So first thing I want to change. I want to make a white Negroni. Red Campari, very dark red vermouth, is not going to make a white liquid. So we need to replace them with a clear liquid. So with Campari, my replacement would be Bitter Bianco from Luxardo, which is technically a white Campari. It's sort of the same thing. Smells the same, tastes almost the same. But it's not the same. I mean, you can't replace it in traditional Negroni. If somebody asks you for Negroni and you use this, the color is going to be off. And somebody's probably going to punch you in the face. So that's what I'm going to use for the white Negroni. And instead of sweet vermouth, I'm going to use Lille Blanc. A white vermouth, there's a whole history behind it. Maybe I'll talk about it some other day. It's not quite clear liquid, so it's going to be quite orangey, but essentially it's not going to be orange color like the Boulevardier I've just made. It's going to be very, very pale looking Negroni. Because it's a Negroni style of thing, I am going to use the gin. So again, we're going to combine these three things. I'll be using the bitter liqueur, which, as the fucking name says, is bitter. Adding more bitters to it could mess up a drink. You can make it too bitter, you can make it overpowering. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a little bit less of it and play around with the bitters. Now I can't use any dark bitters because it's going to add to the color, and my idea is to make it as light as possible. So I'm just going to use something that is a clear color, something like an orange flower water and a grapefruit bitters. I have no idea how it's going to play out, but let's find out. I'm actually going to start with the bitters. Usually I put the bitters last. I'm going to start with the bitters and put, there's no dasher, just a splash. And the orange flower water, just a dash. I don't want to make it too much about the bitters. I want to go for the white Negroni style. And then, same as before, 1 part each. As I said, I'm going to use a little bit less of this, so around 22.5 mils. So just under the line. The gin, 25 ml, 1 ounce, 1 part, what do we need to fucking say? It's all the same. And Lille Blanc. This is quite sweet. I would say a bit more sweet than the red vermouth, or sweet vermouth, funnily enough. So it's going to take that drink to kind of sweeter profile. Now before I do anything with this, I'm going to add one more thing, which is not a bottle, it's not a liquid, it's actually a lemon peel. In the skin of lemon there are a lot of oils, and they're going to be very useful for this drink because I'm going to express the oils straight into the drink before I mix it all together, so the oils get mixed in the drink properly as well. And now this is a small secret that some bartenders do when they make their Negroni. They use a skin of orange to put in their Negronis. We have our glass ready. Might as well put big ice in the glass for the preparation. Oh my fucking god, let's go. I have my liquid in a shaker. And as I said, I'm not going to shake. I'm going to do something completely different. So there are a few different ways of how to make cocktails. You can shake the cocktail. You can stir the cocktail like we've done before. You can build it in a glass. You can do many different things. But there's only one cocktail that I know where this technique is used. And that's a classic cocktail that I absolutely hate and despise. And people who drink it should be fucking jailed for life. It's the Bloody Mary. But the technique is very interesting. It's throwing the cocktail. It's not shaking it, it's throwing it through the air so the drink aerates and it mixes together by throwing it into the different shakers. You'll see what I mean. So fill the tin with ice. Again, ice is very important when it comes to every fucking drink. So I've got my tin filled up with ice. Now I'll put all of my white Negroni ingredients inside. Now I'll take my strainer, turn it upside down and place it inside the shaker. And it should be reclined like 45 degrees from the shaker. Hold it like that and pour all of the ingredients into the small tin. And back. And do this a number of times and try to go as high as possible without spilling. Good luck. Now to make it a little bit more pleasing on the eye, rather than doing this like a dick all the time, you can move around a little bit. You have to be aware of your surroundings, and especially people around you, because if you are going to spill, you're going to spill all over the fucking gaff. So just be careful. But you can play around with it, go from side to side, you know, to make it a little bit more pleasing. So just do that a couple of times, maybe 8-10 times. The more you do it, the more you aerate the drink, but the more you dilute the ice that's in the tin. So just do it a couple of times, and again you can just keep tasting until it's perfect. And once you do that, you can pour that straight into the glass. So I'll put some lemon peel inside, so I'm going to garnish it with the lemon peel as well. And that's your white Negroni. It is quite a difference from the Boulevardier, especially in the color. Let's see how it differs in taste. It smells very, very lemony. and it smells very actually nice. If I smell this, I would never guess it's a Negroni. So let's give it a taste. It's surprisingly close to a Negroni, but it's not a Negroni. It's very different taste. I get a lot of lemon just from the peel itself. I didn't put anything lemon related to it. But it's actually quite strange. It's a variation on Negroni that I have never tried before. I've never tried anything like it, because Negroni is similar but different. There's a lot of sweetness from the Little Blanc. You still get the bitterness of the Campari, which is not a Campari, which is very interesting. And especially drinking this pale color, and you taste it in a Negroni, it is quite interesting. If I can point out one thing, I think it's a little bit unbalanced. I think it's a little bit too bitter. The bitters I used, I don't feel that at all. So maybe I should not have used them, especially because the bitter bottle is quite overpowering. It just destroyed everything that I put in it. But the lemon was a really, really good touch. I like it. I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna drink it. I'm not gonna have another one because I'll have a blow idea instead. Let me clean up. I fucking messed up everything here, man.